All right, welcome back. This is our series on love relationships. I am so happy that you are here, Robert Bolden, Life Transformed. Super excited about this whole topic because what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Don't we need a little bit more love? That's the only thing that there's just too little love. I love that song. And it's so true. All right, and we're all, I won't say we're all, I've probably been searching for love my whole life. I think because that's who I am. I am love. So when I started to understand, I don't have to search for love. I just had to be love. And when I become love, we learned that in the first of this series, right? The more you love yourself, in other words, accept and love exactly who you are. The body you got, the mind you got, the hair, the eyes, the thoughts, everything. You have to love it because God created you perfectly and God doesn't screw anything up. So the extent that you love yourself, we learned that the first day of this series, is the extent someone can love you. We talked about getting out of isolation. We talked about getting into community, right? We talked about being genuine you. Now today I'm going to tell you a little story. And this is something, thank you, Darren Hardy, because I picked this up in one of his workshops or a book. I can't remember which, but it doesn't matter where I picked it up. But I was that person who had a list on my bulletin board, a bulletin board I see in the back there. I had a list of my ideal spouse, all the characteristics. And I mean, it was a long list. It was like, yeah. It's kind of embarrassing now to even think about it. There's this long list of things that I desired in a spouse. And I would look at that list and I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. And it's kind of like, as I think about it, as I meet people, I'm kind of, well, they're fine. Well, and that's like so judgy. This is before I knew God too, by the way. So judgy. It was like really like, oh man, here's the characteristics. Well, so the story is, and I had this list for quite a while, and I was really proud of that list. And I said, and for me, to be fair to me, not beat myself up too much, I didn't want to, it was done in a spirit of not compromising. So I think, it is good to have some things that are fundamental in, if you want to attract a spouse, significant other, there are some things, some standards that you need to set. And I believe that 100%. There's some biblical teaching on that around equally yoked being the most important thing. And we're not going to talk specifically about that today. But that is so important. We'll have to dig into that at some point. I think I might even have it later on in the series. But anyway, so here was the revelation for me. So I've got my list, and I'm doing this teaching with Darren. And he starts talking about the fact that he had his list. And I'm like, oh yeah, me and Darren, same page, right? Didn't know he had a list. I had one. I started feeling pretty good about myself. Like a little affirmation there from Darren Hardy. Yep, he's got a list too. He had a list. But then he continues with the story. And he says, one day I realized, all these things that I put down there. She's got to be this and she's got to be that and athletic and smart and, blah, 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 all these things and, the height, the weight, all this stuff. And here was his aha, and it became my aha. Am I the kind of person that would attract that kind of woman? Woo! It's like, look right in the mirror. Am I the kind of person that would attract that kind of woman? That's big. So the wisdom I want to pass on, the lesson here, make your list, and do it. Like, make it your fantasy list. This would be the ideal partner that I'd love to have. That's great. But then what you want to do is go through that second part of the exercise. Am I the kind of person that would attract that kind of person? Where are my gaps? Right? What things do I need to work on to attract that kind of person? If I want a godly woman, am I a godly man? How am I demonstrating that in my life? John Maxwell always talks about, don't ask a person about what they do. Look at their calendar. Look at their schedule. See where they spend their time. That's going to give you a much truer indication of what kind of person and what they really are all about. So I think this is huge, you guys. It is always an inside game. It's always everything you ever want to change. It's always an inside job, as my coach would say. You have to look to you first. You have to be that person who would attract the kind of person that you, in your heart, desire. If you want to be treated a certain way, are you that kind of person that would attract that kind of person that would treat you that way? Woo! Big stuff there. Sounds complicated, and it is a little bit complicated, but it's so good because it's going to help you grow yourself. All right, that's it for today. Again, we've got our challenge coming up pretty quick. November 22nd, free challenge, Purpose. Find Your Purpose Challenge. We're going to load tons and tons of value into you over that time frame. It's free. There'll be recordings, but you have to register. There's limited spots. You have to register. Look on your email. There's a little link there where you can register for it. It gives you the information on what it's all about, that sort of thing. So register. We'll see you soon.